Yesterday, we heard from Minecraft that the remaining 1.20 features would be announced shortly, but we also heard a direct announcement of archaeology, which will be coming to the game as soon as next week. This is incredible news, but the first thought a lot of people have is, wait a minute, is Roger Badgerman correct? That leak account which showed a pop days before any of these announcements actually knew something about Minecraft, and every time one of these leaks comes true, there is a real question of who is Roger Badgerman. And Honey Lemonade Art's theory is, I'm pretty sure these leaks are not leaks, they're calculated marketing tactics. And the same thing is said by C.L. Williams, that Roger, or the person behind it, is doing this specifically for Mojang, because now Mojang can't talk about super early concept art, so what if they're using this account to make sure the idea they really want to work on would appeal to the community? And this honestly isn't a terrible idea. It's something you'll see surprisingly often in the world of politics, where something is rumoured, and then they can hear people's comments on the rumour, if they think it's good policy or bad policy, and if it's good policy, they say, yeah, that rumour was correct, and if it's bad policy, they say, whoa, 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 that's just a rumor, that's not the truth. And so they could do the same in Minecraft to announce new features or to say things are coming soon and see if people actually were on board or if people said, no, this totally shouldn't happen. And I think that's a really good theory. A part of me really wants to buy into it. However, the other part of me says, well, what was the benefit to Minecraft for having the mob vote mobs leak early? They're just names of mobs and it kind of removed the big hype that their trailers would have had. I think that sometimes pre-announcing things actually is bad, and that is what Minecraft is kind of realizing this year, that when they just throw features at the community with 2 to 3 days notice, there's way more hype than when they give them any more. So I think it's still much more likely that this is an employee or someone who has access to all sorts of information they shouldn't, presumably quite a high-end employee based on that, or presumably the second best theory is that it's a very good data leaker. You might recall that for 1.14 it was leaked there would be barrels with fishes coming out of them, as well as the lava cauldron, and although the barrel with fishes has still never been used, the lava cauldron is a mainstay of Bedrock and later Minecraft as a whole. And so in the same way, this last week we had leaks that there were going to be new pathways to sign in. You'd be able to sign in on the achievement screen, sign in elsewhere. There are all sorts of leaks happening all the time. Maybe Roger Badgerman is just really, really, really good at that, or maybe he's an employee who's really good at that, or maybe you're right and this is a Mojang guerrilla marketing tactic. And if it's that last one, I have to say it really is working. I just don't think in the balance of probabilities, any of those three theories makes perfect sense based on what we're seeing. Speaking of things that we are seeing, I want to mention that the clear theory here is that Roger is a fraud. I know him personally, and he simply uses a psychic named Alberto to his deeds. Alberto is the real star here and should be honoured. This is now the canonical theory until someone can prove otherwise. Speaking of proving otherwise, I've had so many comments saying the Caves and Cliffs saga will finally come to an end with Caves and Cliffs Part 4. You know, a lot of people being like, haha, Caves and Cliffs Part 4, look how clever I am for working this out. And I do have to say that, yeah, the Caves and Cliffs update, as it was announced in 2020, this will be the 4th update, which will be retaining features from that, and that means that now, if they just add the bundle into 1.20, which is sorely needed given all these items they're adding, if they add the bundle to 1.20, they will have officially finished the Caves and Cliffs update as it was announced back then, which is kind of crazy to say. However, I think the more interesting stuff happening in this update is not the missing Caves and Cliffs features, it's the missing features they have planned. Again, the whole theme of this update is exploration and discovery. I think a really good update name would be the Discovery Update, the Exploration. Wait, no, it has to be something that rhymes. So the Exploration and Desecration Update, or the, the Discovery and Recovery Update. You'd have to add some way to recover for that. But honestly, I do think that this is a really exciting update, and those new features that are unannounced get me really excited because I know that one of them's going to be the Sniffer. We know there's probably going to be a link between archaeology and the Sniffer. For what it's worth, it's the only extinct mob that we know of in Minecraft, and so finding the Exifit in a archaeology site makes a lot of sense, right? Or maybe the Sniffer can help you with archaeology stuff. There's going to be some link between these two things, and that makes me wonder if archaeology is actually coming to the game solely because we voted for the Sniffer. If you recall, the first hint we got that archaeology was coming was when Olraf, the person who originally announced it, actually had some little sneaky hints on his Twitter, so maybe, just maybe, the Sniffer is the reason we got archaeology, in which case, honestly, for the first time in a while, I can say good vote. But I can also say that the other features which are going to be based on customization are very exciting. I don't know how it's going to all combine together into an update, but I am very, very curious. About stuff like the Minecraft lore too, by the way, because WiFoPNGPL says people are talking about Minecraft lore, but are we playing the same game? Why would you want a game like this to have lore? There is no story aside from whatever you yourself choose to make, and there is no lore. I don't get why people would be excited at the prospect of lore, and this is wrong. Minecraft is the game where you make the story yourself. Obviously, it would be ridiculous, and I totally agree. If there there were books that said, a long, long time ago, there was a hero named Jane, and he worked on making a Bane, except he wouldn't stay in his lane because he was missing his cane. You know, is that a poem or is that lore? My point is to say that would be terrible. However, what they've said is like, imagine there's a bunch of numbers hiding inside the libraries. And those libraries, we don't know if they're new structures found of archaeology or if it's the stronghold libraries. They both could be true. But imagine there's now a bunch of numbers and they could mean something. That is a high curiosity point. I mean, when you look at the abandoned mineshafts and you wonder who dug those, you look at the wandering trader and you wonder, how did he get to the Nether to get that stuff? There are all these questions about Minecraft. And I think a really good piece of lore for Minecraft is when it raises just as many questions as it gives answers. When it gives you these points of discussion to say, why is there a portal in the ancient city? Where did it used to go? Does the music disc 13 have something to do with it? Or 5, I think, is the better one. There is no answer. There is just more questions. And speaking of more questions, what is your opinion on copper? Anime Geek wonders if, since it's so abundant with just a little bit of features, if it's something that I think is good or bad. And the answer is that, yeah, copper when it first came out was really like, is this it? And the big promise was that more features would be coming in the future for it, and this is something they have really upped in 1.20. We have the armor trimming color, which is a really fun use for it, and then I imagine that the brush will also use copper. So obviously we're going to know for sure next week, and it'll look very ridiculous when I'm making these wrong guesses, but if you look at the brush, especially the one from Minecraft Live, you can see it's got a slight copper color to it, and it also looks kind of feathery. It's also brushing stuff. I imagine the recipe will be like 1 copper ingot and 3 feathers like this, or maybe, like 2 feathers so you can do it in your inventory without using a crafting table, but I imagine that there'll be some fun recipe for the brush, and it will be another use for copper, which would be great, because when you find sandier sand in the early game, wouldn't it be great if you could immediately craft something and go out and get some copper for it? I would like that a lot, just like how Ship Carter does not like the pots and brushes, because they don't look Minecraft-ish. They look like they are a mod. And, there's the obvious criticism here of like, well, everything in Minecraft looks like a mod when it first comes to the game, because you're used to everything that you've started playing Minecraft with. Everything since then is an update, and anything brand new is like, ooh, this is just as uncomfortable as seeing a mod. And so, the thing about the pots and brushes in Minecraft that seems so mod-like is they're not entirely new to Minecraft. I mean, obviously we know that they were shown off in Minecraft Live a few years ago, but they also, the pots specifically, featured in Minecraft Dungeons. This is a very similar looking pot. Wow, what's that? Is this actually a Minecraft feature already, just in the Minecraft game you probably don't already play? And the other interesting thing is on the pot, you'll see it has what looks like a diamond on it, but it's not actually a diamond. This is much closer to the ruby from Minecraft Live. So isn't that fun? There's a Minecraft Dungeons feature with a Minecraft Earth microtransaction currency. Let's be really quiet as we say that last bit, but it's a Minecraft Earth feature on a Minecraft Dungeons feature coming to Minecraft Regular. I think that's really cool. It's like a miniature crossover, and I don't think you can say it's a mod when it's literally a feature from another Minecraft game. Speaking of a feature from another Minecraft game, I actually got a few of the questions for this Q&A before the archaeology announcement yesterday, and I wanted to go through this one first because I was going to answer it normally, but it's extra funny now. Dasher says, I bet it's a new custom pot, but an archaeology would be cool. And technically speaking, it is just a new custom pot. I do imagine that you'll be able to put like maybe something in there. It can't just be a pot that exists, right? It has to either have some functionality, decoratively speaking. You can put 2 high plants in there maybe, or maybe it can link to some villagers and you get a new job site role, or maybe these can do something weird and special in your world. It'd be weird if they were just custom pots, I think. But speaking of custom pots, Mr. Scroop says they need spawn eggs in survival as a rare item. This is another question that just every time I hear it, I'm like, yes, why don't we have spawn eggs in survival? And I know what you're saying, well, it would be really OP. What if when you killed a mob with Silk Touch, you got a spawn egg? Okay, that's also really OP. What if it's like a 1 in 100 chance? Does that sound fair? You kill the mob and you get a little egg encapsulation off it. Would that still be super OP? Probably not, right? And so I'm saying Silk Touch plus cows equals cow spawn egg. Tell me if I've got a bad idea there, but I think it's a great one. Speaking of great ideas, I want to address something actually, because I got this comment from SB Craft. It's kind of a cynical one, saying everyone's making videos for the money, to be honest. Raw truth. And it's one of those cynical comments that I think is actually entirely true. If you're on YouTube, this is the greatest place to make money as a creator. So everyone who is looking to earn some money is also going to be on YouTube. That's why you always see people who are huge on Instagram or TikTok desperately trying to get people to go to their YouTube, because this is where you can actually make any semblance of like a close to real amount of money. So you're right to be cynical on the front of like, well, isn't every YouTuber just trying to make the money? But I also think it's worth mentioning that there are lots of things that you do that you get paid for, or indeed that you pay money for, that you would do regardless of the money interaction. There are a lot of things that you're super passionate about, and that is, I don't know, I think that's something you can exemplify with all sorts of videos. I think if YouTube turned off the money feature tomorrow, of course I would be desperately looking for something else to fill the void, but I would still be posting YouTube videos because I really like doing my silly survival playthroughs, or, whatever else I'm doing in creative and whatnot. And I also think it's really important for people to be informed of Minecraft updates, and so that is something you can mention that, like, yeah, it's okay to be cynical, but I think you're going a little bit too much on that. By the way, the next question here is from Clash saying, Vegas, question mark? Yes, Vegas. That is where I am. Anyway, the final question here, which isn't a question, comes in from Glizzix, which says, I just gained some huge respect for you when you talked about being on vacation but still wanting to inform us. Thank you so much for your efforts, man.
Thank you very much, by the way. I am, in fact, having a very good vacation. Obviously, there is a element of personal life to why I'm here in the United States again, and there's also an element of, like getting all this stuff done. But I hope you're enjoying the videos, even when they come at you from a very dark canyon, and I hope that you enjoyed this one enough. If you did, maybe consider subscribing. I appreciate your presence here on the internet, and I also appreciate your presence in the form of your comments for next week's Q&A. Here's an interesting thing. The Q&As used to be the most commented videos on the channel, but the 1.19.60 update, and especially the pot thing, got so many more comments than the Q&A this week, and I thought that was fascinating. It also got a lot more likes, so clearly people like talking about pots more than they like the Q&As. But if you have any questions, just leave it down below. If you put a question mark, or even if you just phrase it like a question, YouTube knows, and then I can see your comments for next week. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you that time. Goodbye. It's very dark. I need to get home before it gets fully dark.